Hi, I'm Jamie from Right On with Jamie, and today we're going to discuss commas in a series in writing. But first, we need to determine what commas in a series are and why using them correctly is important to your writing. Regardless of the subject you're writing about or the audience you're writing for, when you write, using punctuation correctly can help you express the ideas you are trying to convey. Using correct punctuation makes anything easier to read. Nothing distracts your reader more than convention's errors, and not using commas in a series is a frequent mistake seen in writing. Now you might be asking, Jamie, how can I make sure that I'm using commas in the series correctly? I'm so glad you asked. Today we are going to cover how to punctuate a list. So let's begin. One of my favorite quotes about writing is, I spent most of the day putting in a comma, and the rest of the day taking it out. While this might seem like a slight exaggeration, at times it does seem that way. Because the expression of your thoughts is critical to communication, you should do everything possible to make your written work easy to read and comprehend. This will demonstrate your command of conventions, which is basically grammar, spelling, punctuation, capitalization, etc. To this end, it is important to understand how to correctly punctuate the items in a series. This will make your writing easier to understand for your reader. You'll also add fluency by combining 3 or more similar ideas in one sentence. Let's take a look at commas in a series. Use commas to separate words and word groups in a simple series of 3 or more items. When the last comma in the series comes before and or, it's known as an Oxford comma. A lot of newspapers and magazines drop the Oxford comma in a simple series because they believe it's unnecessary. However, the omission of the Oxford comma can sometimes lead to misunderstandings. One such story occurred when a man left a will that requested his assets be divided equally between his 3 sons. We'll just call them Scott, Eric, and Jim. Unfortunately for Eric and Jim, there was no Oxford comma after Eric. So instead of dividing it equally between Scott, Eric, and Jim at 33 1/3% each, it was divided equally between Scott 50% and Eric and Jim 50%. Definitely an expensive little comma. Needless to say, I'm a big fan of the Oxford comma. So to correctly punctuate commas in a series, remember that in a series of 3 or more terms with a single coordinating conjunction, use a comma after each term except the last one, A, B, conjunction C. Let's take a look at these examples of commas in a series and how they separate similar ideas. Jake's favorite fruits are bananas, apples, and watermelon. The 3 similar ideas in the sentence are bananas, apples, and watermelon. You put a comma after each one, including the last idea, apples, before the conjunction, and. The next example, Max enjoys running, jumping, and skating, illustrates the same sentence scenario. You'll notice the similar ideas, running, jumping, and skating, are separated by commas, including a comma after the last idea, jumping, and before the conjunction, and. Now, the difference in using commas in a series in the next 2 examples is the fact that the 3 similar ideas are adjectives modifying or describing the noun that is following them. In this case, place a comma between the first and second adjective. Do not place a comma after the last adjective. A, B, C, noun. In the first example, Gina is the most caring, tolerant, considerate person I know. All 3 adjectives, caring, tolerant, considerate, modify person. You wouldn't put a comma between considerate and person because there is no conjunction there, and the similar ideas are adjectives describing the noun following them. The next example is very similar. I am looking for the sharp, yellow, long pencil. The adjectives sharp, yellow, long modify the noun pencil. Again, you wouldn't put a comma between long and pencil because there's no conjunction there, and the similar ideas are adjectives describing the noun following them. If you have the worksheet for this lesson, you can pause the video here and review the formulas, definitions, and explanations for commas in a series. I hope you enjoyed this introduction to commas in a list in writing. If you would like the entire lesson, click on the links in the description. I have both a middle school and a high school version. The lesson comes complete with both a digital component ready to be used in any learning management system for independent student instruction and a classroom-ready component with PowerPoint and PDFs. Detailed lesson plans and the rest of this entertaining instructional video complete the lesson. This resource is also part of a sentence fluency and grammar bundle that includes the following lessons: adverbs, comma splices, commas in a list, complex sentences as transitions, complex sentences, compound sentences, sentence fragments and run-on sentences, gerunds, prepositions and prepositional phrases, and transition words. Thanks for watching my video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Right on!